The UN just declared that there's famine in Gaza. It sounds grim, it sounds terrible, it sounds horrendous. There's only one slight problem. It isn't true. What the UN's food classification body, the IPC, did was not science, but politics. The situation in Gaza didn't meet their own official definition of famine, so they changed the definition. They didn't find famine, they forged one. By their own rules, famine means extreme hunger in 20% of households, 30% of children malnourished, and 2 people out of every 10,000 starving to death every day. Gaza doesn't meet that. These standards are the same standards used in South Sudan, Somalia, and Sudan. Even Yemen, with its horrific hunger, hasn't met this threshold. But for Gaza, suddenly the bar was lowered. But this isn't the first time the IPC has warned of famine. They did it in Gaza 3 times already, in May, June, and November 2024, and quietly walked it back. But now, with a rewritten rulebook, they finally get their headline. And all of this while ignoring the facts. Israel has facilitated more than 100,000 trucks carrying nearly 2 million tons of aid into Gaza. That's about a ton of aid for every man, woman, and child. But none of that counts, apparently. What counts are Hamas's talking points, and the UN laps it up. Secretary General Antonio Guterres called it a moral indictment. The UN's top humanitarian officer, Tom Fletcher, claimed it was irrefutable testimony. Really? Irrefutable? This is the same Tom Fletcher who told us in May that 14,000 babies would die in 48 hours. A grotesque lie that he was forced to walk back. And yet, in all their outrage, one word is missing: Hamas, the terror group that steals aid, starves its own people, and keeps Israeli hostages underground without food or water. So why do the UN, the media, and the Western leaders keep moving the goalposts? Why keep changing definitions, staging images, inflating numbers? If everything they say is true, there'd be no need for fabrication. Unless, of course, it isn't true. Now, there is suffering in Gaza and there is deprivation. People are struggling. But let's not pretend this is because of Israel. It's entirely because of Hamas and the war they launched on October 7, 2023. Every bit of suffering we see is because of them. They are a death cult who do not care about Israeli lives and certainly not about their own people either. They want them to suffer so that Israel will be ostracized in the international community. And there is nothing they won't do, lie, steal, murder, to make that happen. Even Australia's Prime Minister warned the media Hamas will engage in propaganda.
What that should be is a warning to the media of being very careful about the fact that Hamas will engage in propaganda.
Wise words. So maybe he and the rest of Israel's fiercest critics should listen to what he himself said very correctly. And perhaps the Western world, rather than focusing obsessively and exclusively on Israel and its actions in defending itself, should perhaps call out the perpetrators instead, and stop using the lies of Hamas as talking points to demonize Israel. Remember, this war can end today if Hamas returns the hostages and lays down its arms, ending all the suffering we are seeing. But they refuse to do that. They want the suffering to continue. So the world needs to stop for a moment and ask, why does Hamas do that? We are living in an Orwellian nightmare, our own modern 1984, a world where lies aren't just told, they're rewarded, where famine is declared where there is none, and where the real famine is the famine of truth.